He has dedicated himself to serve others, both current and future generations, and those whose memory must not be neglected.
As you can imagine, as I say, I feel ridiculously happy for them.
Conservationist, father, and future king.
But now, with a special address, please welcome to the coronation concert stage, His Royal Highness, the Prince of Wales.
The Prince of Wales has a key role in the coronation.
Something significant has just unfolded within the royal family, causing serious concern at Buckingham Palace. Prince William has made an unexpected move by altering the titles of Duchess Sophie's children, Lady Louise and James. This decision caught everyone off guard. The question now is, why did he choose this moment to make such a change, and what could it mean for their peaceful lives and the future of the monarchy? This development could signal a major turning point for the royal institution. It's already well known that Prince William is next in line to the throne, but what's surprising is his decision not to wait until he's crowned to start making changes. Though King Charles remains the official monarch, William has been quietly working behind the scenes to shape the future of the royal family. Part of this vision includes a bold move concerning Lady Louise Windsor and James, the Earl of Wessex. These two young royals have always maintained low profiles. Their lives were private, free of controversy, and far removed from media attention. They focused on their education, spent time with their parents, Prince Edward and Duchess Sophie, and stayed away from the public spotlight. However, despite having done nothing wrong, they've now found themselves caught in the middle of a wider royal transformation, one they never sought out but have been inevitably swept into. William has indicated that under his leadership, the royal household will take a new direction. He doesn't support the idea of many family members using royal titles simply due to blood ties. For him, royal status should be tied to active service, not just lineage. His vision involves a more streamlined royal family, which means changes for Louise and James. Though they are technically entitled to formal titles, William views things differently. Rather than strictly following royal tradition, William is setting his own course. Without making formal announcements, he has signaled that those not playing key public roles won't be granted full royal privileges. Sources close to the palace suggest his team has already been instructed to maintain a smaller group of working royals, even after he becomes king. William isn't trying to stir controversy, he's choosing to let his quiet actions speak louder than words. This discreet approach is having a major impact. Historically, royal blood almost always guaranteed a royal role and the benefits that came with it, even for those who didn't participate much in public duties. But William wants to end that outdated system. He believes too many royals have held titles and enjoyed privileges without contributing meaningfully, and he's determined to change that. Public opinion also plays a major role in William's thinking. In recent years, the royal family has faced numerous controversies: Prince Andrew's scandal, Harry and Meghan stepping back, and criticism over how royal funds are used. William is fully aware that the public expects reform. He wants to show he's paying attention, that he understands the need for change. He's choosing to respond in a quiet but decisive manner. Now, Louise and James find themselves in a complicated position. They have lived with grace, stayed out of the tabloids, and supported the family when needed. Yet, they're now part of a royal shift that could redefine their roles and futures. She wanted her children to grow up like regular kids, free from the intense pressure of public life. Recently, Sophie shared some thoughts in an interview where she explained that her children can use royal titles if they choose to, but she and Edward are raising them with the understanding that they will likely need to build their own careers. That simple explanation gave a clear message: these children aren't being prepared for royal duties, but for real-world responsibilities, careers, and independence. While some might be surprised by Prince William's quiet choice to keep Louise and James out of the core royal circle, their story suggests this direction was always the plan. Their parents envisioned a life for them not built on royal status, and now William's vision seems to reflect that same approach. It's not about rejecting tradition, it's about recognizing that being royal today might mean living a quieter, simpler life away from the spotlight. Lady Louise has always preferred privacy. Though she has appeared at important family events, such as walking behind Queen Elizabeth's coffin during her funeral, she has kept her personal life private. When she turned 18 in 2021, she had the option to adopt the title Her Royal Highness Princess Louise of Edinburgh. But instead of making a public announcement or drawing attention, she quietly chose to continue living the life of privacy her parents gave her, an act many admired as a sign of maturity and self-awareness. Louise shared a close bond with the late Queen, united by their love for horses and carriage driving. Even with that deep connection, when the chance came to step into royal life, she chose a different path. She didn't seek fame or duty, she chose a peaceful, private life. With Louise's stance clear, it's natural to wonder about her younger brother, James. He hasn't reached that decision point yet, but it's approaching. When he turns 18, he'll face the same choice, whether to accept a royal title and the public role that comes with it. For now, no one knows what he'll decide. James is even more private than Louise, rarely speaking publicly and only appearing at major family events or national ceremonies. Still, conversations about his future are already underway behind palace walls, especially as Prince William begins reshaping the future of the royal family. That shift adds weight to James's decision. As the number of working royals potentially shrinks, his choice takes on greater meaning. Many have praised the way Louise and James were brought up, noting how refreshing it is to see royal children living quiet, ordinary lives without constant media attention, just a family-focused upbringing. That calm, grounded lifestyle stands in stark contrast to what the public has seen with Prince Harry and Meghan, or even the younger generation of Cambridges, who have grown up under media scrutiny. But here's where it becomes more complex, and possibly surprising. While we've seen the likely direction Louise and James might take, it's also worth considering what they would be leaving behind by stepping away from royal life. Declining a royal title isn't just about avoiding public attention, it also means giving up financial benefits tied to the monarchy. The royal family relies on several key income sources, and if Louise or James chose to take on royal roles, they'd be expected to serve the crown. This would involve attending public engagements, representing the family at official events, and becoming full-time working royals. Along with that would come security, media attention, and financial support. However, taking on such roles would also mean sacrificing their personal freedom, making it a significant and life-shaping decision. From the beginning, Duchess Sophie made it clear what she and Prince Edward envisioned for their children. They wanted Louise and James to grow up grounded, not feeling entitled because of their heritage. The goal was to keep the royal lifestyle from becoming an easy fallback. Instead, they gave their children the space to explore life on their own terms, free from royal pressure and expectations. Even without titles or regular public appearances, Louise and James remain members of the royal family, meaning their lives will never be completely private. With Prince William now taking a more active role and reshaping the future of the monarchy, a new kind of attention is falling on them, especially James. People are watching to see if he'll quietly follow Louise's path or make a different choice entirely. What makes their situation so unusual is that it's rare for royals to be given a choice at all. Typically, titles are inherited automatically from birth. But Louise and James represent a newer, quieter generation of royals, raised with the awareness that the world is changing and that the monarchy must evolve alongside it. Louise has already made her decision. Now it's James's turn, and whatever path he chooses may offer insight into how the younger royals truly feel about their roles in today's society. Prince William is currently focused on creating a more modern, streamlined version of the monarchy. He's not just addressing current responsibilities, he's thinking long-term. Though Louise and James rarely make headlines, their decisions now lie at the heart of this subtle transformation. Whether they step into formal royal roles or choose to remain out of the spotlight, their actions could significantly influence the monarchy's direction in unexpected ways. William's approach is a clear departure from tradition. He's working to reduce the number of active royals and concentrate public roles within the core family, himself, Catherine, and their 3 children. But this shift comes with emotional weight. Louise and James were never intended to face this kind of scrutiny. For years, Duchess Sophie protected them from royal pressures. Now, as circumstances change rapidly, Sophie finds herself in a difficult position. The stable, private life she tried to build for her children is being tested by unexpected developments. Behind the scenes, tension has been building. The question of titles for Louise and James has become a quiet point of contention, especially as Prince William tightens the circle around his immediate family. Sophie never wanted to find herself in this situation. From the beginning, she and her husband, Prince Edward, aimed for a simple life where their children could grow up away from the intense scrutiny that comes with royal status. They made the deliberate choice not to give their children the titles of prince or princess, not out of disrespect for the monarchy, but to preserve their kids' freedom and innocence. However, Prince William's new direction for the royal family now conflicts with that vision. As a result, Sophie, Edward, and their children are quietly being pushed to the margins. The very children Sophie worked so hard to protect are being drawn back into the royal spotlight, through no choice of their own. Those close to the palace say Sophie is beginning to push back, though in her characteristically gentle manner. She's been reminding the royal family of the commitments that were once made, not just by her, but also by the late Queen Elizabeth. It was the Queen who supported the idea of raising Louise and James without royal titles. The decision was backed by the entire family at the time. It wasn't about rejecting royal tradition, it was about offering two children a more ordinary life. But now, that agreement is under pressure. Once quiet and reserved, Sophie is now calmly defending the life she created for her children. The future of Louise and James could end up revealing more about where the monarchy is headed than anyone expects. With Prince William focused on streamlining the royal family, the previous understanding about Louise and James feels less certain. Although he hasn't made direct demands, his actions, such as excluding the siblings from key royal events, have made his stance clear. His attention is centered on the core of the royal family, and this shift has left Sophie feeling increasingly uneasy. From her perspective, it appears that her children are being quietly sidelined, or even worse, may be expected to take on royal duties one day without the proper preparation or support they would have received had they held titles from the start. It's a troubling and emotional position to be in. Despite her inner conflict, Sophie maintains her composure in public. She continues to attend important royal events with grace and dignity. She stood tall during Queen Elizabeth's funeral and proudly supported King Charles at his coronation. But behind closed doors, those close to her say she is struggling. She finds herself torn between her desire to protect her children and her loyalty to a monarchy that's evolving rapidly. This issue goes beyond titles, it's about what those titles represent. Without them, individuals are expected to remain quiet, show gratitude, and stay out of the spotlight. That's difficult for Sophie, because regardless of what changes, her children remain direct descendants of the late Queen. They are family, so why are they being treated as outsiders? From another perspective, Sophie recognizes the bigger picture. She knows that William faces immense pressure. The royal family has endured wave after wave of public scandal, from Prince Andrew's controversies to Harry and Meghan stepping back, and constant criticism over finances and transparency. William's strategy has been to simplify and modernize the monarchy. He wants it to be lean, efficient, and free from distractions. While that may help its public image, it comes at a cost to people like Sophie. She's not seeking attention or trying to turn her children into royal stars. What she wants is something basic and deeply important: fairness and honesty. Are her children going to be part of the royal family's future or not? If they aren't, then they should be allowed to live quietly without any expectations. But if they are, they deserve the right training, support, and respect to represent the crown confidently. Right now, they're in an awkward position, not fully in the family's inner circle, but not completely outside it either. Sophie feels that weight every day. For her, it's more than just a responsibility, it's deeply personal. Sophie has always been one of the most loyal members of the royal family. She never wrote exposés, didn't give dramatic interviews, and never sought fame. She kept a low profile, stayed close to the Queen, and worked diligently behind the scenes. She earned her trust and secured her place. Yet now, she watches quietly as her loyalty seems to be overlooked. Though she wouldn't complain openly, those close to her say she feels hurt. She never imagined her children would be treated as if they were less important. Adding to the emotional complexity, Sophie's family is closely tied to the monarchy. Her husband, Prince Edward, was granted the Duke of Edinburgh title, once held by Prince Philip. That should have boosted their family's status, but instead, it caused more confusion. Why give Edward such a prestigious title but exclude his children from the royal inner circle? Sophie is now trying to find a balance. She wants to shield her children's private lives but also ensure they are acknowledged as part of the royal bloodline. On the other hand, Prince William aims to streamline the royal family without damaging the bonds or trust within it. Between these two objectives, something will have to give. Attention is now shifting to James. Will he choose to accept a royal title, take on public duties, and alter the family's course? Or will he follow Louise's example, staying out of the spotlight and living a private life? Whatever he decides, it marks an important turning point. So stay tuned. The Royal Crossroads. Lady Louise and James, Earl of Wessex, were never meant to live in the royal spotlight. Their lives were intended to be quiet, simple, and away from cameras. But things are changing quickly. With Prince William redefining the royal family and deciding who belongs in his smaller, more focused monarchy, Louise and James are at a crucial crossroads. Royalty today is no longer about crowns or ceremonies, it's about real choices. For these two young royals, choosing between a private life and public duty is far more complex than it appears. When Louise was born, she had a serious eye condition called esotropia, causing her eyes to point in different directions. This made public appearances difficult for her early on. She underwent surgeries to correct it, something few people knew about. Her parents, especially Sophie, kept this private, protecting her from public scrutiny. Sophie worked hard to ensure Louise didn't face the intense pressures of royal life. She wanted her daughter to grow up peacefully, away from the usual royal chaos. As Louise grew older, she gradually gained confidence, especially through riding horses. She developed a passion for carriage driving, just like her grandfather Prince Philip. It was more than a hobby, it was something meaningful to her. For Louise, it was a way to feel connected to a man she deeply admired. Through this bond, she discovered something of her own, a source of strength. At events like the Royal Windsor Horse Show, Louise began attracting attention, not for her clothes or appearance, but for her talent, calm demeanor, and the resemblance she bore to her grandfather. It became clear that this young royal possessed a natural, genuine charm. Louise has also appeared at significant royal occasions, not just as a guest, but as a quiet and graceful presence. She walked behind Queen Elizabeth's coffin during the funeral procession and stood strong during major family moments while the world watched. She never sought the spotlight or chased attention, yet she always showed up with heart, dignity, and a deep sense of family. She demonstrated that even without a title or constant media focus, she can carry herself with pride and elegance. Today, the world is watching Louise and her brother James more closely than ever. As the royal family evolves, the pressure mounts. Will they remain in the background, as expected, or will they be called upon to take on a larger role in the monarchy's future? These questions remain unanswered. What is certain is that both Louise and James stand at a pivotal point. The choices they make will influence not only their own lives but also the direction of the royal family. At just 16, James, the Earl of Wessex, is already showing signs that he may assume more royal duties than his older sister Louise. He has been attending major family events more frequently, quietly stepping into the public eye. Whether at the Commonwealth Games, Easter Sunday service, or the Queen's Platinum Jubilee, James has been alongside his parents, steadily adapting to royal life. Though subtle, his presence is being noticed. Some royal fans believe James could become one of the next generation's full-time working royals. Behind the scenes, his father, Prince Edward, appears to be preparing him for that future. With Edward now the Duke of Edinburgh, a title closely associated with duty, leadership, and royal tradition, it seems likely James is being encouraged to consider his role seriously. This raises an important question: do James and Louise wish to live quiet, private lives away from the glare of cameras and constant public scrutiny, or will they embrace the demanding world of royal service, filled with pressure, attention, and lifelong commitment? It's a challenging decision. Unlike Prince William and Prince Harry, who grew up knowing their lives would always be public, Louise and James have had a different upbringing. They've always existed somewhere in between, not completely hidden but not expected to be in the spotlight either. They aren't distant relatives who can fade into private life unnoticed. Now that Prince William is shaping the royal family's future and deciding who remains close to the throne, Louise and James may have to make their choice sooner than expected. The media is already watching closely, and royal observers are speculating about what lies ahead. Many think Louise might choose a quieter path, perhaps focusing on writing or pursuing creative interests. Some believe James might unexpectedly become a dependable and prominent royal figure. However, the truth is no one can say for certain. Things are still evolving, so anything could happen. It's clear that today's young royals aren't simply given titles, they also inherit high expectations. Louise and James find themselves at the forefront of this change. The choices they make now will not only shape their own futures but could also influence the future direction of the royal family. They embody a new kind of royal narrative, two young individuals who grew up on the sidelines and are now slowly being drawn into the spotlight. Whether they're prepared or not, the space they once quietly occupied is fading because the Queen is gone, and King Charles is leading in his own distinctive way. Meanwhile, Prince William is carefully shaping the monarchy he hopes to lead going forward. This situation places real pressure on young royals like James and Louise to discover not just their place, but who they truly are and who they want to become. What's especially unique now is that, for the first time in royal history, younger family members are being asked if they want to take on official royal roles. No matter which paths they decide to follow, their choices won't just impact those around them, they will send a strong message about how the royal family adapts to a changing world. So, what are your thoughts on Prince William's new approach? Do you think Louise and James will step up as active members of the royal family?